Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webcast. My name is Matt Bolton, and I'm with Product Management at Dell and Dell Software, and then I'm in the Dell Networking group. And today we're going to focus on visualizing your network health, and we're going to go into a lot of details around different ways and how you can approach that within your environment. So one of the things that I want to do is kind of set some of the market trends that we're seeing within the Dell massive customer base and in addition to the market, and talk about how these forces are disrupting network complexity and driving the higher need for or more need for visualization. So the first thing is the accelerated adoption of virtualization technologies, and then most importantly, cloud technologies and the convergence of cloud within the existing infrastructure. The second thing that's happening quite a bit is BYOD and the consumerization of allowing people to access data in a way that they want to access data on their own devices from anywhere and any place. So that actually, you know, from a network complexity point of view, adds these different elements and different entry points that impact things like security. The power of social networking, and really what that is about information and access to that information from anywhere at any time. And so that adding that type of aspect of consuming data within the network infrastructure is really about visualization, which a lot of social networking happens to be. And then the other two are around big data and security, you know, which are massive trends, and big data in particular is driving a lot of network infrastructure change, in addition to networks themselves turning into software controlled or software-defined networks with the power to do more and control it, separating it out from the hardware, kind of like what virtualization done is on the server side. So as that evolution of IT occurs, you look at some of these major items: the data explosion, cloud, mobile, always on, virtual, leads to some very interesting statistics about the evolution of the data center. And we've highlighted a few here where 73% of customers expect to have some sort of virtualization or be virtualized by next year. And I mean, that's pretty much full penetration within a lot of environments. The second item I want to point out is just the amount of data that's being processed within these environments. It's a massive amount, and it doesn't matter if that's on-prem type of networks or cloud-based networks. That's all running over an infrastructure where you're going to need to see it and visualize it to understand specific areas. So what type of challenges does that present to you as a network administrator or someone responsible for keeping these services to customers and clients on all the time, right? So security, we mentioned before. We talked about manageability, where you're talking about the cost of being able to manage these networks is getting extremely high, and people want to continue to bring that down and down. Also availability. Availability is huge. At the end of the day, these services and applications being delivered to either internal or external consumers need to have 5 nines reliability and that considerable uptime. And we believe, and we'll show you how visualization of your network can play a big role in solving and helping with these IT challenges. So today's topic, know your network. And one of the vital components of that is gaining control of that complex infrastructure. And we're going to highlight and talk about 3 different areas to help you do that and to solve or look at your network from a visual way. First is discovery and understanding what's out there on your network, right? So what do we mean, or what are we talking about when we're talking about why network discovery? First, it's the first piece and the most critical piece of understanding or getting visualization on the network. If you don't know what is out there on your network, you're not going to be able to visualize it, right? The second thing is, if you don't know about it, you can't manage it. And that doesn't mean just manageable devices, but that also means unmanaged devices as well. The ability to make sure that, like, for example, a guest network at an environment is segmented properly, and you can see, if you can visualize it, you can understand if there's been a breach there. And then last, but very important, is understand what's connected to what. That is being able to provide a topology map, in a sense, of the entire infrastructure, how things are connected and the interdependencies between them. So what are a couple ways, the ways to do that and things to look for as you go to better visualize your network? One is that when you have a network discovery utility that you're going to use, the scan of the network itself must be very thorough. It must use different types of techniques in order to identify devices, not just like ping or SNMP, but all these different types of other available technologies to properly profile that network, because it could be that one device or two devices that are missed are the ones that actually cause a problem or present a security breach on the network. And then understanding, once you have those devices, what type of devices are they, in order to properly monitor and manage them going forward. And then finally, as networks are more and more fluid every day, devices coming on and off, especially with BYOD, if a company has implemented that type of policy, you need this always-on discovery, this constant scanning and understanding as these devices go on and off the network and consume resources. The next thing would be this summary, in a sense of, okay, now that I've run my discovery, I need a quick visual of the type of devices that are out there, what are the status of those devices. And then from there, that sets the foundation for your ongoing monitoring and management of that network through like a network management system, and have the ability to start getting more granular data on those devices. So not just discovering what's there to visualize it, but then once you start looking at performance statistics of those devices, understanding how they're impacting the overall health of the network. And then finally, can you do things like remote control to a device and get access to these if you so need? And the third option here is then creating that actual network map. And, in our experience and what we see with a lot of our customers, they love the ability to and really use it on a day-to-day basis of how devices are connected. They use it to find things. They use it to understand what type of routing and changes can be made to the network. And then they also use it for actually network health and understanding, is a link saturated or not, or is the device being saturated. And when you're looking at network, and there's various different forms of network mapping products on the market. Some are very focused and very deep. Some are more higher level and focus on the actual performance of the network. So you can decide and pick and choose what you believe is best for you, but you need to make sure that they have the ability to auto-draw in this fluid network, as I was talking about before. You need to make sure that the maps are always going and are evolving and changing as the network changes itself, because the last thing that you want is to jump into a map and see a topology view that's actually incorrect. It's not going to help you solve any problems or properly visualize the network. The second step of knowing your network and visualizing it would be analytics, and that's actually kind of just the real-time access to changes. That is that the monitoring and the updating of the visualization needs to be in real time. Why is that important? Well, first and foremost, it allows you as a network administrator to have proactive administration. That means you're getting data in real time. Hopefully, if you set up your systems properly before the actual problem it's actually a warning signs to let you know that, hey, something's coming down the road, let's alleviate it now. It allows you to reduce your mean time to resolution, solve problems faster in a shorter window. And then taking that even a step further goes to root cause identification, being able to correlate data, understanding how devices are connected together. If one change here, what's the impact over there? And then finally, as an ongoing basis, these analytics can establish and provide a baseline for your infrastructure. So on your ongoing basis, you can understand as the infrastructure and the topology starts changing from what was normal. So you can, see a rogue device that comes on, or you can see that my utilization has spiked. and there's a virus that came through the network, or a backup that started sucking a lot of the pipe during the middle of the day. So analytics as an ongoing basis become very, very important as a day-to-day for your day-to-day operations. So what are some of the different ways that you can do that from a visualization point of view? One are performance dashboards. So here are a couple screenshots of the different type of data that you can collect, or what it can look like and how you can visualize it. You can see here, that you can get some red, yellow, green statuses, some spikes and lines, but then you need to have the ability to drill into that and identify exactly what caused it. So for example, if you have, you get a spike of utilization on your WAN link, being able to understand the net flow data associated with it to identify if what the actual application was or domain was that caused that spike. So that's the core. That's where tying in together the visualization of like dashboards with the analytics of your monitoring system. The next would be something like, once you understand that, is identifying the actual flow of data, visualizing the data flowing through the network, and how can that be represented. So one of the key ways of doing that in today's environments are with like a NetFlow-based protocol, or JFlow or SFlow, which the majority of networking devices support. And it gives you kind of answers or an understanding of the data and the applications traversing the network and finding out where their potential choke points are, that congestion that could be causing the help desk to start getting a lot of phone calls from users. And then finally, and probably most importantly, where all this kind of lies is getting answers, is about providing and getting actual insights to the network health. And one of the things that we like to talk about with our customers and about our solutions is providing answers and not problems. There's a lot of tools and solutions on the market for you to learn, and I encourage you to find products that allow you to answer a question that you might have around your network and its health, not one that's just going to expose it to you. A lot of tools are good at surfacing data, but not necessarily intelligently representing it for you to do your job better. And one of the ways that we thought that was a good way of talking about answers and not problems is actually talking about a couple use cases associated with network management. We see it quite a bit from our customers and what they use visualization to solve those, to answer those questions. So, for example, first use case scenario is talking about intermittent application failure. So that it's not like the application failed, but it's going up and down. You get a couple phone calls here, fixes its problem, get a couple more phone calls later, and so on and so on, where there's this intermittent type of health issue. And one of the things that we've seen is being able to visualize those problems and correlating like the pipe associated with the traffic going through it. In one case that we've seen quite a bit, and what we lay out in this example, is the flapping of ports on those networking devices, where that's causing the application slowness and failure for some of the users. And that can be visualized in like a topology map, where you can see the link going up and down, flashing red and green, red and green, red and green, versus an outright failure. A second scenario that we want to talk about is actually an application itself is running slow. And one of the ways that we've seen things be able to solve that problem and visualize it is actually leveraging the traffic analysis that we mentioned before, and being able to visualize that traffic from multiple points within the network. So for example, being able to collect traffic off the actual application server itself, being able to collect traffic from the switches that are in between the application server and the database server, and being able to do a trace route, in a sense, of how that data is flowing and identify where there's a potential choke point. And the other thing is where that plays into is the baselining as well. So as traffic is moving in and out of this infrastructure, understanding if there's spikes based off of normal, where you can identify, uh-oh, I think I might have a problem here. Let's go solve that before you even get any help desk calls. So what we wanted to do next is kind of take these type of scenarios and these type of activities for visualizing your network in terms of discovery, analyze, and get answers, and actually provide that in a real-world demo with some examples. And Mario Arrington is going to join me and walk you through some of those right within a product itself.
Great, thanks, Matt. Good presentation. So, hi guys, my name is Mario Arrington. I'm the SC for NMS here for Dell, and we're going to just basically kind of be going over some of the points that Matt Bolton just brought up, and kind of just getting into the product here. So I will share my desktop here, and we will get started. So this is the main NMS UI here, as you can see here. So we've had this broken down into very easy to see view. So from a high level, I can see what the health status is of most of my systems here from our green, yellow, and red indicators. Green meaning everything is up, it's in good standing. Yellow means an alert's been triggered of some sort, where I can see very easily here in the device details what's been happening, what condition was met, as well as down meaning red. So there's something that's wrong with this system. I need to take a look at it. It's unreachable to the server. Okay, so after the initial discovery, we have a very easy wizard here that allows you to discover and probe the network with our agents. And they do an SNMP scan, they do some ping DNS requests and a few other data points as well to see what's out there on the network. As Matt mentioned, the first thing is knowing what's on your network. So that being said, this process is very easy. Once you run your discovery, we have smart policies. Out of the box, they're pre-configured and populated for you with all the monitors that are all networking-centric, server-centric, and so forth, desktop as well. So within a matter of minutes, you could have this software up and running, run a discovery on your network, and very easily see at a high level what you need to start taking a look at, okay? So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the policies for a quick moment so you guys have an idea for how that looks. We've got our device members here, all part of the same group. Our list of current monitors, again, these are all pre-populated out of the box for you. There's nothing that we need to do here other than run our discovery and set them in the appropriate policy. We should start to begin monitoring right off the bat, okay? Based on these monitors is where we have the alerts. This is really the proactive mechanism of NMS to let you know when things occur and hopefully proactively let you know when there's going to be a problem so you can take care of it before it happens. Let's open up one alert to take a quick look at it. So we've got a condition here to say if network interface traffic hits a threshold, let us know. We can also have escalations as well after a certain period of time. A Tier 2 tech can receive an alert if it's not reset, which can be helpful, as well as reset conditions as well. So this is really a three-tiered type of alerting framework that I highly recommend setting up in a sense that it's not only going to let you know when something happens, but we can also compare to a fixed value, or as Matt mentioned, a baseline, which is going to be the intelligent behavior of the network. So for instance, if your router interface traffic does hit 75 or 80% Monday and Tuesday morning because everyone's checking their email, this will intelligently know that that is natural behavior, therefore not alerting on it. So it's nice to have that option as well. So that's kind of our policies there. Now, going back into analytics, now let's take a look at the dashboard because that's kind of the real-time NOC view, if you will, in terms of all the different data that we collect, and this can be customized in any way that you want, showing you any types of data. Out of the box, we have our top 10 tier giving you high-level which devices you really need to take a look at, whether it be CPU, memory, network interface utilization, disk volume, and so forth. Again, out of the box, within a matter of minutes, you should know high-level which devices you need to take a look at right away. Okay? These other gadgets here below alerts and logs are ones that we've customized for ourselves, and I would think that are conducive for a network administrator. So I'll show a few of these as well. We've got our network traffic flow module showing us our net flow data. Of course, this is relevant in terms of being able to isolate problematic users, rogue devices, whatever it is on the network that I want to know what type of traffic, port 80 traffic, SNMP data, a specific user or IP, I can get those analytics within this module. Very, very easy to navigate. We also have a NOC view setup, which is showing us our NetFlow data in conjunction with our WAN interface on our router, showing us spikes in traffic over a period of time. So very quickly, I can see that this device here has been sending a lot of, or receiving a lot of traffic, excuse me, for this scope and time. And I know based on that data, I can go back and go, okay, well, I know what scope and time it is. I'm going to start taking a look at this information to see if I can isolate what it was that caused that spike. So going back into the answers portion, but the dashboard has the tools necessary to find the answers to the problems that you might have on your network.
Hey, Mario, a quick question for you. So one of the things that comes up quite a bit from customers is that when there might be different types of administrators within the IT department. So, you know, one person might be focused on routers and switches, somebody might be focused on applications, or some people might be focused on, you know, if it's a managed service provider, customer A or customer B and customer C. How can these dashboards, in a sense, help visualize what is valuable to an individual IT administrator?
Good question, Matt. Well, that's all about the customization of each gadget. So as you see here, we've got a few set up, but these are all editable and customizable. So for instance, I've got these different groups set up here. I've got a latency group, I've got a disk volume group, and so forth. I can break these up into physical locations. I can break them up into remote sites. It is all up to me. As I add my tab, these gadgets here are going to appear here with a tab name, and I can give it any name that I'd like. Within each of these tab entries is where I create my specific gadgets. And that's what's going to give me the details that I want to see in terms of what my job is. Am I the network administrator that needs to see everything, or do I only care about servers? And these are also user-centric, so I'm logged in currently as Patrick, so we can create specific user accounts within NMS as well to give people access to only what they want to see, only their data. So there's very granular things that we can do with this as well. And here's kind of a list of gadgets that we currently offer, quite a few, too many to cover on this conversation, but just to give you an idea for what we can currently do, as well as custom gadgets. So if you don't see what you need here, you can also run a custom gadget wizard, which should allow you to pull the metrics that you want to see within the dashboard as well. For instance, custom monitors and things of that nature. So again, to reiterate, the dashboard really is kind of the knock view, the focal point that's very customizable for your view, for your team, or for an individual user, and should give you real-time data and logging in terms of what's happening on your network from your devices. Now we're going back, and I'm going to go ahead and try to cover our network maps here for a moment here. So this is real important, as Matt mentioned as well, giving you a topology view, high level, across different geographical locations. So as you can see here, I've got a New York and a California office, and both are red, meaning they're both down. There's something wrong. So I really want to try to find out what's down in that system. Is it my core device, or is it just another system? So if I drill down here, I can very clearly see at a high level that San Francisco office is up, but it's the Los Angeles office that's down. And if I drill down a little further, I can see that this device here is actually the one that's supporting these other two systems, which in fact is down, therefore correlating that Los Angeles office is unreachable. So again, from a high level, I can continue to drill down and find the problematic system that has either triggered the alert, has shown a spike in the dashboard charts for baselining or network interface utilization, so I know that there's a problem, right? That's how I know, that's my red flag or my indicator to know that I need to take a look at this data or this device. Here's our data center map. Again, different type of view, giving us the same type of information across multiple systems. So as you can see here, we've got a down device here, and we are correlating all the other links associated with this system compared to the other devices as down as well, because they're all connected. So I can see that these links as well are down. That's very important. And we can also drill down to this as well. So if I wanted to take a look at my 4503 router to see how it's doing, no problem. I can drill down and get some more analytics on that system as well. So let's go into a few of the use cases that Matt mentioned. I think that that's kind of important here for you guys to kind of see how do we use the tool to isolate problems on the network. Okay, so after we run our discovery, we have devices under management, we're monitoring them successfully, and we've set our thresholds accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to pick a few. One of them being an application that's failing and we're losing connectivity in application. Well, typically the indicators are going to be an alert or a dashboard that you know that's a red flag. So for instance, we have an alert that says network interface traffic is spiked, or let's assume that flapping ports, we receive a syslog message from a router saying one of our ports is flapping. That is a problem, and therefore the application is failing. Well, based on that data, we're getting the alert. We can actually take a look at that device, potentially connect to it in the UI here, right from the command line, and take a look and start seeing what we can do to that system and seeing if we can get some more understanding of why these ports are flapping and hopefully remediate that issue so that we don't have this application failure in the future, as opposed to not knowing about it and the customers continually obviously saying, hey, there's a problem. So I can connect to any system here within the UI as well, which makes it very accessible and easy. Now, another use case that is very typical for a lot of network administrators is network interface traffic utilization. That is very critical for lots of either network admins or pretty much anyone that's administering the network. So an example would be your core router hits 90% of its threshold. Okay, I receive an alert and I know that it happens, but based on that data, how do I know what it is? Was it a user? Was it somebody downloading YouTube? What was it? Was it a rogue system? Our network traffic analysis, or NetFlow, aka, is a valuable tool in the sense that it gives you more insight into the who, what, when, where, why of the network. What user has been doing what for the last hour, for the last week? How much SNMP traffic was generated over this scope and time? So to give you an example, let's go back to my dashboard very quickly here and just show you how we can correlate that information with our NOC view here, because we have our NetFlow module in conjunction with our network interface chart. So as we can see here, we have a large spike on Thursday. That was a lot of received data. So based on that, I could go back into past week and maybe showing top 20, and since it was received data, I'm going to go to my endpoints, and then I can actually scroll over to the right and sort by in KB or out KB, so I can, it's right off the bat, know which device is taking up the most bandwidth. And I can drill down to that system just to get more details on that device to see what's been happening. So we have the tools necessary to isolate what these problems are on the network, obviously from the red flag indicators, from an alert, or as well as a dashboard. We also have a grouping mechanism here that makes it very easy for you to find your devices with one click. For instance, our NetFlow is located here, virtual machines, and so forth, our Cisco Nexus equipment. So we make it very easy for you to find your devices within each site so that you can easily find what you're looking for.
And that's an important thing too, is you're talking about visualization, because a lot of times when you're looking at your network, you need to look at it from multiple or different perspectives. And so being able to logically group devices together by function, by role, by type, by location, is very important in understanding that and dwindling down if you start getting alerts or start seeing some yellow signs, being able to focus in on that specific area and the interdependencies around that hot spot that you're identifying is really important from a root cause analysis point of view.
Thanks, Matt. And just to wrap up here, again, from a high level, the NMS software is very easy to implement. Within a matter of minutes, you can run a probe on your networking devices, discover them, start monitoring them, and out of the box with our smart policies, which we'll throw them into automatically, you should be monitoring within a matter of minutes and have some immediate insight into your network. As Matt mentioned, a little bit of customization within the policies to set the thresholds accordingly that are important for you and your environment are obviously critical so that you can be notified about these conditions when they occur on your network. And obviously that is going to be the indicator that something is wrong or that you need to take a look or administer something. So again, high-level summary view here, giving you access to all your systems as well as a dashboard is more the real-time kind of NOC data that you get. Very customizable, again, into any type of view that you'd like to set up. And then basically providing answers. And NetFlow is one of the most powerful things about our product in terms of giving you insight into what type of traffic is passing out so you can start isolating, grouping. Is it an application? Is it a user? Is it SNMP traffic? Whatever it may be, we try to provide that to the network admin so that he can make an intelligent decision about what's happening.
So with that, great presentation, Mario, and demo. So let's jump back into a couple slides here and wrap up the webinar.
Okay.
So as we get going here, one of the things that we highlighted and mentioned a couple times during the presentation is around overall performance monitoring and visibility. Obviously, we have a network-centric focus that Mario and I discussed with you, but Dell has a performance monitoring suite of solutions called Foglight under that brand name that does everything from application performance monitoring to infrastructure, that includes network but also storage and virtualization, to also database performance monitoring, all built on a common architectural and informational model. So when it comes to visualization, you can actually, with Foglight portfolio, visualize someone and see someone actually clicking on maybe your like e-commerce site, your website, e-store, buying something and the performance of those individual transactions at the website all the way to the database and back through the underlying architecture, all visualized for you. So if you're, depending on what scenario you're in or what you're looking for, I would go check out FogLight and look at the other different options associated with the portfolio, which are all integrated as well. And what that does is allows FogLight to attack multiple stakeholders. That is gives each independent stakeholder, as part of the performance monitoring, their views into their area of interest, but also allow them to speak the common language or same language as the rest of the IT department and team. So the application guys are saying the same thing as the infrastructure guys, which are saying the same thing as the database guys. And so it alleviates a lot of the finger pointing that's in the market and allows people to actually visualize and see the root cause of a lot of the problems. You can triage those events a lot faster. And then, looking at the product portfolio that we have in the network monitoring and management arena, one is FogLight NMS. That's for IT departments of all sizes that want to monitor and manage all the infrastructure gear and common devices throughout the organization, like VoIP systems, for example. PacketTrap RMM and PacketTrap PSA are our managed service provider offerings. They allow managed service providers to do new service delivery and service management all through a single tightly integrated application. And then we also have a suite of free network tools out there that for technicians to solve problems on the fly and find out more of what's going on about on their network. So if you want to learn more, we have fully functional 30-day trials across all of our products on our website. You can go to quest.com/NMS or FogLight-Network-Management System. You can also email us at sales@packettrap.com or questions at or NMS questions at quest.com. Sorry, that's NMS questions at quest.com. We're always available. We also have a pretty robust community that you can west at communities.quest.com, and you'll see for all of our products out there and answer a lot of common questions that you might have about helping you to do your job better or just learning more about our products and offerings. We appreciate your time today joining our webinar. We have another one coming up here in a couple weeks, so look out for that. And we hope you found this informative. Thanks a lot.